There are growing calls in Canada for police officers to wear body cams on the job. In places like Toronto and Montreal, there have been pilot projects and tests. Activists in the wake of the George Floyd story urging police chiefs to deploy them immediately. And John Northcott is here to look more at that story. John, one that really seems to be taking off in Montreal, notably.
In Montreal, but it's being discussed right across the country. Heather, this is a situation where three letters you're going to hear a lot of in the coming weeks. BWC, body-worn cameras. There have been pilot projects in a number of cities across this country. The Vancouver project underway, in fact, was put to one side because of the COVID-19 crisis. Calgary officers do use them. Ottawa's chief, Peter Slowly, says he is going to look into it. Montreal's mayor, Valérie Plante, says after initially in the past saying it might be too expensive, is going to push ahead with it. And we've seen this push across the country for a couple of reasons, not the least of which the death of George Floyd in the United States, but also in this country, the death of a young woman during an interaction with police. It was a call made by her family. There she is there, Regis Korchinski-Paquette. Officers showed up to intervene. Something happened. She fell to her death from 24 floors up. They weren't wearing body cams because none of the police officers do in Toronto. Had they been wearing them, the investigation might have been a lot easier and a lot clearer. Toronto's chief, Mark Saunders. Have a listen.
This is a textbook case as to why I've been advocating for body-worn cameras, and I'm now fast-tracking to the best of my ability to allow that process to speed up so we can have access to body-worn cameras as soon as possible.
There is, in fact, a petition underway that is getting pretty close to the 75,000 signatures that they want to have Toronto police introduce those body cams. Interestingly, a number of police associations and unions across the country say that they are in favor of officers wearing body cams. Heather?
So there is a lot of activism pressure to have, as you've suggested, John, cities look at this and forces look at this. But what are some of the challenges? Why is it not in more widespread use already, for example?
Well, a couple of reasons. New technology. So there's literally the technology to work out about it. There is cost, tens of millions of dollars in some jurisdictions. This is a situation where, again, amidst COVID-19, we're seeing city budgets being torn apart with politicians wondering how they're going to afford basic city services moving forward. So that's an issue as well. Let's listen again to Mark Saunders from the Toronto Force.
We get this out, it is going to be the right kit with the right training, with the right procedures and policies in place. And understanding that, the body-worn cameras is not the end all, but what it is an added tool that can give an objective account of what occurred during those moments. And so it will heighten, I believe, better opportunities for officers to tell their stories.
So again, the chief saying it allows the officers to tell their stories, but as we know in television, a single shot doesn't tell the whole story. The camera is only so wide, it's not 360 degrees. Audio can be an issue. Privacy as well. We saw in the death of Regis Korchinski-Paquette in Toronto, that was deemed to be a mental health call. Privacy issues around that, interactions with the public, other people captured on camera. All of this, again, technologically, uncertain at the moment, but also legally. How much of it will stand up in court? When do you turn the camera off? What happened before and after the camera was turned off and on? So as this evolves, if cities can find the money, and again the pressure is on, eventually this will end up in many cases being ruled on by the courts in terms of what's admissible and what actually happened, despite the fact they have video to turn to. Heather?
John, thank you very much.
Okay.